Well, this is Mother's Day, and I would like to get a petition to eliminate Mother's Day being celebrated, as well as Father's Day, too. Um, so, Mother's Day is just a way for the masses to gloat and to toot their own horn. To toot their own horn for basically, well, just having sex. And, I mean, pregnancy, although a difficult experience, it's a passive experience. So, because you get pregnant, you have sex, and you get pregnant, and you don't have an abortion, that yields a baby. So, it's not a great feat. And everybody living comes from a lineage of everybody having sex and not aborting. So the fact that we're all here means that we came from a sex act and nothing more. And whether it was through force or through initiation or just by accident. We were all placed into existence without our consent. Nobody gave permission to be placed into this horrible world. And I just think it's really pathetic that natalists like to defend their act. And they like to promote the act of reproduction as something that's beautiful, as something that's like they've made progress, like it's an accomplishment. Oh, well, I guess according to the dictionary, I guess it would be considered an accomplishment, but it's a negative accomplishment, and it's a life-altering accomplishment. It's a very earth-unfriendly accomplishment. I was going to go out to eat today. There's a new Indian place that just opened up, and they had a chain of this particular restaurant in Mumbai, which I didn't know. And it was kind of interesting because I had some food there that I had not even had since I left India. But I called them. I called and I asked if they were busy. And they said, oh yeah, we're really busy. And they said, it's Mother's Day, which I knew. That's the only reason why, I called them in the first place, because I do not want to eat with, a bunch of families. And it's probably, an Indian restaurant is probably the worst place to go for Mother's Day. But I really enjoy being child-free. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think, wow, I really dodged a bullet there. And and so my life's path has me taking care of homeless dogs, adopted dogs, unwanted dogs, etc. And it's the greatest privilege to be a mom, to be a fur mom, a mother to these beautiful, desirable critters. But the fact that Mother's Day and Father's Day is so heavily promoted, and the masses use it as an excuse to honor themselves. Yet when child-free people, when they honor themselves, or when they talk about flex, or the savings that they had, or the vacations that they took, or um, the designer clothes that they bought, or the donations they made to charity, or the house that they just bought, or the cars that they have, or the boats that they have. So when child-free people are technically gloating themselves, they get kickback. So, and I really think it's mostly just an aspect of jealousy, because I think a lot of parents are very, very regretful. And in fact, I know that. And I know, like, parenthood can be just absolutely a dangerous prospect. And a huge life-altering prospect for the parents as well as the children. And it's a deadly prospect for the children because once you reproduce, you've given your lineage a death sentence, and that's a pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy burden. I'm really glad that I wasn't suckered into having a kid, or I just didn't follow society's and culture's pressure. I just saw it as pressure. And like family members who did want a child, which pretty much boils down to my mom, I saw that as just a selfish proposition of hers, and that she just wanted to see her mini-me in the next generation. Or I don't know, I have no idea why she would want me to have a child, for her to have grandchildren. It just, I don't even know, like, what's the significance of that? And she used to say things to me like, well, you'll know when you have your children, or, well, you'll see why I'm, telling you these things when you have your own child. And it was almost like punishment. It was almost like my mom wanted me to have kids, almost like misery loves company, and that she could watch me suffer. I felt like she didn't like her position in life, but yet she wanted me to go through the same agony of child rearing, childbirth, blah blah blah. And my mom was very unhappy, and she was limited, in things that she could do. And I think that she saw my adventures and the hobbies, like ice skating, that I took to, a really great level as an adult. And I think that she saw those things that I was doing, in my 20s and 30s, that she never had a chance to do because she was raising children. And, it's not pretty when you're, raising kids and, pushing them to do homework, pushing them to eat their vegetables, or wiping snotty noses, and cleaning up vomit. And my sibling was always, it seemed like always in the doctor's office or the hospital or something. And so I think parenthood for most families, it was a rude awakening. And there was just a lot of disappointments. And meanwhile, raising a child does not guarantee that you're going to bond with that child. It doesn't guarantee that they're going to love you. And I do know that there's a lot of discord with parents, and they feel that they did not get their just desserts from their children. They, they'll complain about not being visited, or their children moved away and, they don't come to see them, and that sort of thing. And some parents will say, I did everything. Well, it's usually a narcissistic personality that feels that they've done everything when their children don't come to see them, or when they don't even like them. Because if your children are not in your life, if they're not calling you on Mother's Day, if they're not making visits to you on Christmas and Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever, you did something wrong, lady. You did something very wrong. And just diapering your child is not being a good mother. Cleaning the house is not being a good mother. A lot of women put their careers or their houses or their husbands in front of their children. And that does not make a good mother. That makes a bad mother. And so there's a lot of neglect in families. There's a lot of financial neglect, emotional neglect, psychological neglect, as well as abuses. Those are all abuses. And, I just see it on many, many regretful parent groups. The parent just feels, like they've just done everything when you know that they didn't. And doing everything means that you've stayed in your child's life and you've financially supported them. It means paying for college. It means paying for weddings. It means paying for houses or cars. It means bailing them out when they need money. That's what a parent does, because a parent initiated their existence. Far too many parents just throw their hands up in the air and, they back out of responsibility and accountability. So no matter how your child treats you or how little they respect you, you brought them into the world. You are responsible for them, no matter how old they are. And it's not something that you can just throw your hands up in the air over. Every parent should continue to validate their child and to support their child, no matter how old they are. And I also see on these regretful parent groups, I see that they discuss their lives that were changed. Like, I gave up my hobbies. I gave up my career. Our income is, split in half. And, the mom can't work anymore. They can't find a babysitter. And the funds are really low. And they're financially struggling. But they never consider the child, their perspective. And, when you bring someone into existence, you have to consider their perspective, because they're the ones that matter. It's not your life that is altered because that was your choice. I mean, unless you just found yourself, 5 to 6, 7 months pregnant and you didn't know it. It was a choice. And a lot of women are pressured into not getting abortions. And I've seen this over and over and over. The males in their lives, or the families, or the church instructs them to carry the pregnancy to fruition. And that's very, very harmful for women. I mean, that's a huge obstacle in a woman's life. She may or may not bond with that child. She may be mentally unfit for that child. The child may need a lot more care than she was willing to give. She may not be equipped to be a mother. And I think about 90% of people are not equipped to be a mother or father. But yeah. Hey girls, come on, let's go this way. You want to smell? There's a lot of deer that roam around here. It's probably deer poop. So, it's good to hear some vintage music. So, a couple things I want to readdress from this video is that it's parents who gloat. It's parents who try to brag and toot their own horns that they are a father or a mother. And the majority of people are mothers and fathers. So it's not special, folks. We've got 8 billion people around that are products of their parents fucking. I just wish that we didn't have, these celebrations for parents, because it isolates the child-free people, and it doesn't validate child-free people. Like, I am aware that we do have International Child-Free Day, but it's not well known, and it's it's not like J.C. Penney and Macy's is giving discounts on jewelry for International Child-Free Day, or International or Antinatalist Day. I mean, it's not like we're getting a fair shake. And restaurants aren't advertising discounts for mothers or that kind of thing. So we're not being validated, and it's just very wrong to see continuous validation for an entity that I don't believe in, an entity that is dangerous and harmful, and procreation is harmful. So, and you moms out there who, you tell your friends, you tell people that that you've just done everything for your child, and they just don't come to see you, and you have an estranged relationship. You know what, lady? You're an abuser. You're an emotional, psychological, physical, or sexual abuser. Good moms are loved, and good moms are cherished and respected. So just keep that in mind. If you claim that you did so many good things for your child, name them. Just name them. And don't mention cooking dinners or cleaning the house or, driving them to, baseball games, cheerleading practice, because that doesn't count. You were obligated to do that. Some parents don't even do that. like my parents. If you went the extra mile for your child, if you drove your child to school and back every day in your own car instead of them having to take the bus, that counts for something. If you saved up money for your child to go to college and, get a bachelor's and a master's degree, or, a certificate to be a chef, that counts for something. If you bought that child a new car, that counts for something. If they needed money and you gave them money instead of it just being loaned, that counts for something. If you saved up for their future, if you bought them a house or a boat or, very nice things, that counts for something, because the work that it took for you to save up money to buy those things, it was a sacrifice for you. Too many parents are not making sacrifices for their children. And you owe that child. You owe that child for here ever after, because you brought them into existence. And you are not assuming their sufferings, their wage slavery, their misfortunes. So you're not taking on any suffering for your child. You just literally drop them in a very unstable and unpredictable world. For them to fend for themselves. So that's immoral. It's very, very immoral. To have kids and not feel that you owe them, and that you're accountable for all of their losses and all of their setbacks and all of their discomforts, because you are. When you initiate reproduction, birth, you are forever responsible. Hey, girl. But I'm so glad to be spending Mother's Day without a child. I am so extremely glad that I have dogs to love, and they know that they're loved. There's no question in my mind that they don't believe that I am the very best mom that they could have ever had. And that's not something I would say to my own biological mother, or my stepmother for that reason. Hey, girl. She's trying to roll in deer poop, but I know. So for you child-free women out there, thanks for taking care, and thanks for nurturing other species, because we are mothers to the offspring of other species, right? So we are taking on a job that a mother left off with, which is caretaking for animals. And I think there's nothing better than taking care of another species' offspring. So that's about it. Time to go in, because it's getting late. And I'll be glad when Mother's Day's over.